Since the Energy and Commerce and Ways and Means Committees approved our bills, we've been listening to our members and their ideas and how we can better get decision-making out of Washington and restore it back to the states, where we can restore the free market so Americans have more choices. And above all, how can we make healthcare more affordable? The risk-sharing proposal by Representative Palmer and Schweikert does this. You know, it's based on proven results at the state level, where people thought out of the box, really focused on the needs of patients with high medical costs, and then took good, solid, thoughtful action on lowering those costs. I want to commend these two members for not just bringing this idea forward, but working with members throughout this conference on reaching consensus. With this proposal, I think we're making a small but important step forward on building consensus and reaching agreement on how we can lower healthcare costs. We do have more work to do, but I think this is an important step forward. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions?
Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the optics and the work that was done on this over the course of last week, but the divisions are still very real and very clear. Can you explain to me how you bridge the very clear divide between what the House Freedom Caucus wants and what they believe the Vice President has proposed and what the rest of your caucus wants?
Yeah, I actually think that divide is narrowing quite quickly. What this idea represents is a goal that everyone from the Freedom Caucus to every other group that's represented here is seeking. How do we lower premiums? How do we lower premiums and continue the protections for people with pre-existing conditions? This idea does that. And so this is one of those ideas that narrows differences and brings people closer toward consensus. There are some other ideas that we're still working on and talking about, trying to build consensus on to continue to do just that. Lower premiums even further, give states more flexibility so they can address the unique needs of their insurance markets while still protecting, making sure we keep those protections for people with pre-existing conditions. So this is one of those ideas that get us closer together, closer to consensus. There are more ideas that we're working on, and that's why we're going to keep working in the days and weeks ahead to go and find that consensus and try and get this bill done.
Back in Philadelphia in February or January, we talked a lot about the Gantt chart, your schedule for another year.
Still on it.
That was kind of my question, actually.
Yeah.
You've talked now recently about setting artificial deadlines, and I'm wondering to what extent does that mean you still believe in the Gantt chart, and to what extent does this newfound willingness to be flexible?
Jonathan, I will never stop believing in Gantt charts. I'm always a believer in Gantt charts. I'm a big believer in project management. We have in our timeline lots of flexibility built into it. You know why? Because we have to work with the United States Senate. The Senate moves a little more slowly on any given weekday or month or year than the House does. So we have plenty of cushion built into our plans, and we are well within that spectrum of timeline that we envisioned on dealing with the Obamacare legislation.
Now, also, the healthcare thing impacts how quickly you guys are concerned. So budget resolution.
All those things are still on the same timeline that we've already been on. Casey.
Devin Nunes has stepped aside from the probe into the Russia ties and meddling in the election. Do you still have faith that he didn't do anything wrong? Did he mishandle classified information?
No, I don't believe so. I just put a statement out probably while you were sitting here, so let me just tell you what my statement is. First of all, Devin Nunes has earned my trust over many years for his integrity and his dedication to the critical work that the intelligence community does to keep Americans safe. He continues to have that trust, and I know he is eager to demonstrate to the Ethics Committee that he has followed all proper guidelines and laws. In the meantime, it is clear that this process would be a distraction to the House Intelligence Committee's investigation into Russian interference in our election. So Chairman Nunes has offered to step aside as the lead Republican on this particular probe, and I fully support his decision. Representative Mike Conaway, a senior member of the committee, will now lead this investigation with respect to House Republicans on the Intelligence Committee. I'm confident that he will oversee a professional investigation into Russia's actions and follow the facts wherever they may lead.
So clearly, Chairman Nunes made some mistakes here.
I don't think that's the case, but I think Chairman Nunes wants to make sure that this is not a distraction to a very important investigation. So he wants to go clear himself while this investigation continues on without any kinds of distractions. Yeah.
Just to be clear on that, though, given the fact that you say he has your support, you have reiterated several times your trust in him, but the fact that this has been a distraction, does he still have, or do you still have confidence in him to
I
lead
do.
the committee overall?
I do.
Last question.
Right there.
The Freedom Caucus wants to see an amendment to allow for states to waiver out of the community ratings requirement. That could effectively undermine the pre-existing conditions because they could charge sick people more. Can you commit to?
I'm not going to get into the particular details of the conversations that are going on, but we believe that there are additional reforms and ideas that can do both things: protect people with pre-existing conditions and continue to lower premiums and give states flexibility so that more insurers can come into the marketplace. One of the concerns we have is that insurers are leaving left and right, and people are down to like one choice, and in some cases, no choices. That's not good. Having a monopoly isn't a choice, it's a monopoly. And so what we're trying to do is find the kinds of provisions that bring more insurers into the marketplace so that people have more choices, and with more choices, you have more competition, and with more competition, you have lower prices. And we are all dedicated to making sure that people with pre-existing conditions still get the kind of coverage that they need, and that's affordable coverage. And we want to find a way to do that in such a way that everyone else who's in the insurance market can also get lower premiums, affordable choices, and more choice, more competition. So that's what this is all about. I'm not going to go into the details of the particulars, but those are the kinds of debates we're having. And that's why this is a step in the right direction. It's closer toward the final goal and agreement, and we're going to keep talking, working on it until we get it right. Thank you.